Alrighty guys, this is Kristen and welcome back to my channel. And so today we are going to be doing my December TBR. And honestly, I think this month is the month that I'm most excited to read books for, because a majority of the books that are on my list are books that I've been really excited to read. So without further ado, let's get on to the video. So the first book that I'm going to put on the list is The War Storm by Victoria Aveyard. So this is the last book in the Red Queen series. As you can see, I've already started it. And actually, I'm really excited. I got the Thrift Books Thrilling bookmark in my last package that I got in November. So I'm super excited to have this bookmark because, I mean, I've been using a bookmark, obviously, but I'm like the chaotic good of bookmark people where like I just use receipts and like pieces of paper and stuff. So it's nice to have this. I really like the colors of it. Also, like, I just like that I got the thrilling one, you know, because this is the first bookmark that I got from the promotion that they were doing. And like I thought it was fitting that like I really like reading like horror and thriller, and that's the one that I got. So, and someone is actually, I'm in a Facebook group for thrift books, and someone had an extra ominous thrift bookmark, so I'm actually getting that one too, which is super exciting. They're gonna mail it to me. But this is the last book in the Red Queen series, and so in the third book, because this is the fourth book, in the third book, at the end, they've taken Corvium and they offer the throne back to Cal. Like, the silver people want to back Cal for the throne because they think he's the rightful king, and of course he's better than Maven. And that kind of doesn't work out for Mare, because she's like, I can't, because the condition is that if he becomes king, he has to marry Evangeline again. And of course he's in love with Mare, and so that isn't great. And so Mare is like, choose me over the crown, because like I want to be with you, I love you, you said you love me. And Cal's like, well, you choose me. And she's like, I don't want to be, she doesn't want to be a consort, you know? She doesn't want to be the lover of the king, even though he's more in love with her than he is with Evangeline. Like, she doesn't want to do that, and rightfully so. Don't ever be a side piece for somebody. Girl, you are the Texas Roadhouse butter rolls, and those are second to nobody, okay? But, so this book is them dealing with the after effects of Corvium. I'm assuming that this is where either Maven is going to win or fall. Cal's gonna live or die. Mare's gonna live or die, because who knows what's going on with Mare, because she's a cannonball of wild. And just, you know, Evangeline doesn't want to marry Cal either. She'd rather be with her lover, Elaine. So I'm excited to see how this series actually ends, whether it's going to end in kind of a happy ending or if it's going to end in kind of a not happy ending. So I'm super excited to read this. And then, if you guys have seen my little YouTube shorts, then you know that my Rhapsodic books finally came in. I cannot wait to finish this series. You guys already know, I've talked about this in every single TBR video I've had since October, about how I was supposed to read these books. They were supposed to come in. I had to reorder them. They finally came in this week that I'm filming this video. They came in, and I am super excited. Like, I'm gonna finish this book, and then I might read a different book in between this series, just to give me a break from fantasy series. But actually, I think there's only one book I have here that is not a fantasy book. So I might read that book and then start this series. But like, I'm reading this series this month, guys. It's finally happening. So of course, I've already talked about this video lots of times, as I just said in my other TBR videos. But I'm gonna let you guys suffer through me reading the descriptions once again. Maybe there's some new people here who haven't heard me talk about these books for the last 3 months. But, so the second book, of course, is A Strange Hymn, and Siren Calypso Lilith still wears the physical reminders of her time as Carnon's captive, even after reuniting with soulmate Desmond Flynn. the King of Night. Not only that, but mounting evidence suggests the Thief of Souls, the being responsible for the disappearance of countless Fae warriors, is still out there. Invited to an annual solstice celebration, Callie and Des journey to the kingdom of Flora to continue their investigation. But under the bright lights and striking blooms of the realm, new complications arise, ones that no amount of bargaining can undo. Soldiers begin to go missing from the gathering, and some of the Fae begin to suspect Des is the man behind it all. To Callie, one thing is certain: no one is who they appear to be, not even her soulmate. Fairies play dangerous games. Some want love, some want vengeance, some want flesh, and some want horrors too unspeakable to name. Something is stirring in the land of all that grows, and if Callie isn't careful, it will claim everything she loves and her along with it. So I'm excited to see where this series goes. And then the third book after that is like a little novella that gives us the background to Des. And in the beginning there was darkness. Before he met his soulmate, Calypso Lilith, and before he became the bargainer or the King of Night, he was just Desmond Flynn, the bastard son of a scribe, a boy born to a weak mother in a lowly city, cursed with little magic and destined to marry a slave. A boy taught to hide his truths from the realm of night and from himself. But fate had something else in mind. In an instant, Des loses everything, and his life becomes newly defined by a quest for revenge. From the barren caves of Aristias to the palace of Somnia to the streets of Earth, Des journeys to places he's only ever read about to destroy the king who shattered his fragile life in the shadows. What he finds will change him forever, between the threads of fate, the business of bargains, and a centuries-long quest to find his mortal soulmate. This is how a fairy who began with nothing but darkness becomes the emperor of evening stars. And I was almost tempted to not get this book, because like I don't like novellas, in my opinion. Like, just give me the books. Just give me the books. I don't want the little in-betweenies, you know. But everybody said that this series was better if you read the novella, so that is why I got the little novella to read. And of course, the last book in this series is Dark Harmony, and also, I love that these covers are all like soft touch, you know. But there are worse things than death, things that lurk in the shadows and slip into your dreams, things that have no business existing, things that once slept but have now awoken. For Calypso Lilith, the fey magic that now runs through her veins is equal parts curse and good fortune. For the very thing that bonds her to Desmond Flynn, the King of Night, also makes her vulnerable to the Thief of Souls, a man who wants to break the world, and Callie along with it. But it's not the thief whose shadow looms over. It's not just the thief whose shadow looms over the other world. Des's father is back from the dead, and he wants revenge on the son who sent him to the grave in the first place. Des and Cal figure out how to stop both men, and time is running out, because there are forces at play working to tear the lovers apart once and for all, and unfortunately for them, death is no longer the worst thing to fear. So, honestly, I kind of almost wish that I didn't read that description to you guys, because that's kind of like the thing about reading the descriptions of series books that I kind of don't like for TBRs, is like, I don't know where the series is going to go. I can assume, but until I read the book, like, I don't really know where things are going to go. And so, like, reading the backs of books of series books kind of tells you where the story's going to go. So I don't enjoy it too much, but I am super excited to read those books. And all these books are by Laura Valasa. You would think after 3 videos of having these books in them, I would maybe look up how to say her last name. However, I have not. So please, I'm sorry if I'm offending anybody by saying that last name. So the only book that isn't like pure straight fantasy that I have on here is Stalking Jack the Ripper by Kiri Maniscalco. And she is the author of the Kingdom of the Wicked series, which is also on my to be read list for this month. For buying books, since it is my birthday month, Thrift Books does like a little promotion where you get extra points around the weeks of your birthday. So I'm going to hold off on buying books until my birthday for this month. So I'm kind of worried that, once again, I'm going to run out of books. But if I do, I will figure out something. maybe. But so I'm gonna buy more of my books around my birthday. That way I can reap the benefits of my birthday. And then I'm also hoping that for Christmas, I told my family that if they wanted to give me something for Christmas, I wanted like Target gift cards or like bookstore gift cards or thrift books gift cards so that I could get more books. Because, like, are there lots of things that I want in this world? Yes. The things that would probably bring me the most joy, books. And then if I finish my first list of books on my to be bought list, maybe then I'll have more money for the other things in my life to spend on. Maybe not, because I have like 2 other lists of books to buy already. But you know, we can try. We can hope and try. Okay. But so this kind of takes place back in ye old Jack the Ripper days. This is also a series. However, I think each book is different in the series, and I don't think you have to read them all in order for everything to make sense. Like, I think it's more like kind of like an anthology type situation. But he murdered women in cold blood. He terrorized an entire city. He taunted those of us who hunted him down, but despite all these horrors, in the end, I could not deny it. I was the girl who loved the Ripper. So I feel like this is kind of like a horror book that, like, she's kind of like almost like a detective situation, and she's falling in love with the Ripper, and she doesn't want to because obviously he's a bad man. Maybe brings him to justice. I'm not entirely sure. But I'm super excited to read this book. I don't even know how I found this book, to be honest with you, because, like, I know it wasn't recommended to me from a YouTuber, and I don't think it was on the Book of the Month website, but I think what just happened is, like, I was adding things to my list and thrift books, and sometimes it'll pop up at the bottom, like, oh, books that you might be interested in based on the stuff that you're already interested in, and I think this was on that list, and it actually sounded really interesting to me once I read it, like, the little summary that I could find on thrift books or Amazon. So I'm super excited to read this book, especially because, like, I like murder type, true crimey type things, you know? So it is what it is. I also got The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. And so this is another book that I'm super excited to read because it has magic and fantasy, and it's like set in like older times, and the circus arrives without warning. No announcements precede it. It is simply there, when yesterday it was not. Within the black and white striped canvas tent is an utterly unique experience full of breathtaking amazements. It is called Le Cirque de Revive, and it is only open at night. But behind the scenes, a fierce competition is underway. A duel between 2 magicians, Celia and Marco, who have been trained since childhood expressly for this purpose by their mercurial instructors. Unbeknownst to them, this is a game in which only one can be left standing. Amidst the high stakes, Celia and Marco soon tumble headfirst into love, setting off a domino effect of dangerous consequences and leaving the lives of everyone from the performers to the patrons hanging in the balance. So, once again, fantasy, magic. There seems to be a little love story. I'm excited to read it. It's giving me Caraval vibes, which is also on my list of things to buy. Oh, guys, I'm kind of proud of myself. I think I'm only down to 42 books on my wish list to buy. Once again, though, I have like 2 other lists of books to buy once that book's done. So, never enough books. I fantasize about when I finally get a real job and a nice house, building my little bookshelf area with like a comfy little sit vibe. Like, if anybody's watched Haley Pham's library that she built, like, I don't think I want a bed in my library just because, like, I like to read sitting up and I like to read like curled up too. So, like, honestly, my favorite place to read, my ex had a couch that like had a movable L that you could put, and he had it next to like, it was almost like a nightstand or like a table stand situation that was like cloth and whatnot, where you could like charge stuff and like put drinks, and you put the L right next to that, and there was like the rest of the couch, and that was my favorite place to read. So I think I want something like that, or like I love a good hammock. I love a good hammock, or like the little like egg swing chairs that you can get. I don't know how I'm gonna get one of those because I feel like you have to attach them to the ceiling, and that kind of scares me. Uh, but I want one of those, you know. So stay tuned for like 2 years, and we can realize my library book dreams together. Okay. Uh, the next book that I have for you guys is The Gilded Wolves by Rosani Chikoshki, perhaps. This is the first book in, I think it's the Gilded Beasts series, and I am excited. It's kind of a fantasy. Seraphim stared at the luminous dark of the Eye of Horus, which is a little Egyptian mythology there. Not that I don't know how much is actually going to be in here, but just a little fun tidbit for you guys. In that second, the air smelled metallic. He could almost see it, gray, rippling the sky as if it were hectic with fever. Fanged teeth of light flashing in the clouds, a taunt to Snap. This realization felt like watching a storm. He couldn't stop what would come next, and he didn't want to. And like Stephanie Garber, who is the author of Caraval, has a little quote on here, and so does Holly Black. So I'm excited to see what comes about. It's 1889. The city is on the cusp of industry and power, and the Exposition Universelle has breathed new life into streets and dredged up ancient secrets. Here, no one keeps tabs on the dark truths better than treasure hunter and wealthy hotelier Servin Montigny Allery. When the elite, ever-powerful Order of Babel coerces him to help them on a mission, Servin is offered a treasure that he never imagined, his true inheritance. To hunt down the ancient artifact the Order seeks, Servin calls upon a band of unlikely experts, an engineer with a debt to pay, a historian banished from his home, a dancer with sinister past, and a brother in arms, if not blood. Together they will join Servin as he explores the dark, glittering heart of Paris. What they find might change the course of history, but only if they can stay alive. And so it kind of gave me Six of Crows vibes, which you know I love the Six of Crows series deeply and in my soul. So it was kind of giving me that vibe. We'll see what happens. I'm excited to read it. And the last book that I have on this list is a book that anybody who has been in the book talk, booktube for the last year knows that this book has had everybody in a death grip for the last year. And I mean, I've heard that some people really like this book and some people don't really like this book. So I guess it's kind of like a 50-50, but everybody knows this book. And that is They Won, the Only, Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. And let me tell you, I'm so excited to read this book because it gives me Aragon vibes from what I've heard. It gives me the Aeronauts Windlast vibes. So I'm ready. I'm excited. Literally, I went home for a concert in November. I went home for the Metallica concert to go to with my dad. And while we were in town, we went and visited my grandma, and she gave me $25 for my birthday and Christmas. And you bet your butts that I immediately went onto the Barnes & Noble little website and reserved me a special holiday edition of Fourth Wing, because I hadn't bought this book yet. It was on my to-be bought list. I just hadn't, newer books are more expensive. I'm cheap. And I thought that I could wait. and it would be fine. I didn't have to read it right away, in my opinion. But then little birdies popped up on my my Facebook feed and my Instagram feed, and lo and behold, what was it? The holiday edition of Fourth Wing. And I was like, red metallic cover, sprayed edges, which I think this is the first book that I have sprayed edges on, which is really cool. And I enjoy. I mean, I know that the original Fourth Wing, you could get sprayed edges that had like dragons and stuff, which I think is a little bit cooler in my opinion. I really wish they would have done that for the holiday edition, but I'll take any fancy thing that I can get. I'm also a little sad too that like the book itself is just black. Like I feel like this is probably what the regular edition looks like, which I guess, you know, I guess it's cheaper that way to not get a completely new book designed for the holiday and just do outside covers. But regardless, I digress. I'm super excited to read this book. It's got dragons, it's got action, it's got magic fantasy. It's screaming my name. And so I will read the description for everybody who doesn't know what this book contains. A dragon without its rider is a tragedy. A rider without their dragon is dead. Article 1, Section 1, the Dragon Riders Codex. Anyone else feel like changing their mind? Zayden, I think it's Zayden, shouts, scanning the remaining rows of cadets with the same shrewd gaze of the navy blue dragon behind him. No? Excellent. Roughly half of you will be dead by this time next summer. Which, that kind of reminds me of the very first chemical engineering class I ever had to take. The professor came into class and he was like, look around. 50% of you are going to pass this class and 50% of you are not. But I digress. The formation is silent except for a few untimely sobs from my left. A third of you again the year after that, and the same year last year. No one cares who your mommy or daddy is here. Even King Tori's second son died during his threshing. So tell me again, do you feel invincible now that you've made it into the Riders Quadrant? Untouchable? Elite? No one cheers. Another blast of heat rushes, this time directly at my face, and every muscle in my body clenches, preparing for incineration. But it's not flames, just steam, and it blows back Ryans braids as the dragons finish their simultaneous exhale. The breeches on the first year ahead of me darken, the color spreading down his legs. They want us scared, mission accomplished. Because you're not untouchable or special to them. Zayden points towards the navy dragon and leans forward slightly, like he's letting us in on a secret as we lock eyes. To them, you're just the prey. And so basically the premise of this book, at least from what I've heard and what I've gathered, is like royal lady, royal princess, family doesn't want her to go to the dragon quadrant. It's either they don't want her to go or they do want her to go. I'm not for sure. I don't remember entirely. But she goes to become like a dragon warrior, which is like the most dangerous part of the army, military, because, you know, the dragons could kill you if they don't like you. And it's just kind of her journey through this school. And of course, Iron Flame is out now, which is the second to this book. So I'm kind of glad that I waited and I bought the holiday edition, because by the time I'm done reading this, I will have the money. But also, the craze for Iron Flame should be past, and I should actually be able to get my hands on it. So, that is all the books that I have bought for this month to read in my TBR. I'm kind of scared that I'm going to run out of books again. It didn't happen last month because there was too many good sales that I kept buying books even though I shouldn't have. So I hope that I don't run out of books this month either, but at least if I do, like, I will be at home, so I guess I can go to the library and like borrow some books or something, slash buy some books. But that is all I have for you guys today. Let me know, what do you guys want to read in this month of December? Are you reading more Christmas type books, like more Christmas romance situations? Are you just watching Christmas movies and your Hallmark movies to get you through the season? What are you most excited for this month? I'm really excited to see my family for Christmas, and I am most excited to see like the animals that my family has. But these are the books I am planning to read this month. I'm super excited. These are like the books that I am most excited to read, I think, ever that I've gotten, because obviously Fourth Wing, and then I finally can finish the Rhapsodic series, and I'm really keen on reading Stalking Jack the Ripper. So I will leave you until the next video. Bye!